of D2D Con 7. I am joined by a good friend of mine, co-founder or founder? Founder of RepCard, Brad Mortensen. Did I say that right? I always butcher it.
Yeah, no, you did great.
Yes!
You did great. Nailed it.
So, Brad is the founder, CEO of RepCard. You guys, I'm sure out there, if you're not using it, you should look into it. If you are using it, I guarantee you are loving it. You know, talk to us a little bit about RepCard. Talk to us about the history. I want to know, for my own, I'll be selfish on this one. I want to know kind of your background. I want to dive into how the concept of RepCard came about. I want to know what, I just want to know, man.
Yeah, baby. Let's do it. Yeah, so my background in business is door-to-door sales. So spent a lot of years, started in 2010, and over the years I would travel a lot visiting sales teams. And so I don't know how exactly it started, but I had this note on my phone that was just like this app idea. And I just started making bullet points of what it could become or what it could be. And so it was 2017, and I was visiting a bunch of different offices in North Carolina, Corpus Christi, Texas, Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I was flying around and was going through these notes on my phone, and I saw this note about this app idea. And so I started to design it. Every time I would travel, I would use my computer and design the app screens.
Yeah.
Just kind of like playing around with it.
Yeah.
And I went as far as making like a full prototype, and I started showing it to all my buddies in door-to-door, some of my own sales reps, other business owners, and they're like, I would pay for that.
So my question would be, one, how did you know how to take the right steps to start doing a rep? Because I mean, do you have a tech background? Like, are you all about coding? Are you all about you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I had tried to build this app a few years before that.
Okay.
And so I knew a little bit about tech, but I couldn't write one line of code. But I had been introduced to this design tool called Adobe XD, and it doesn't require internet. So when I was on the planes, I had no internet, and I wasn't gonna buy internet. I'm like, oh, it's my time to just be disconnected.
Yeah.
So I had this, flying from the West Coast to the East Coast, it's 3.5, 4, 5 hours. So, I'd get bored. I'm not a movie guy, so I was just bust out my laptop, and I started just designing it. And I'm not a designer. I just was having fun. I don't know, passing time. Figured out how to make a prototype and started showing people. And so from there, they were just I'd pay for this. And so...
And what year was that? What year was, hey, here, I've started showing people, I have a rough mock-up, I want to start buying?
That was 2017.
Okay, cool.
So then I was like, these designs suck. Everything is I didn't know how to
painting.
Use it.
I get it, dude.
It was
Finger
terrible.
painting. I got it.
So I went to Fiverr and found a dude for $300, paid for his top tier package,
Yeah.
Because it's $5, but then by the time you leave, you check out. I paid $300 and he cleaned up my designs and found a developer in India and one of my
cool.
and we started with that.
Awesome. So 2017 was the official hey, I've started getting people to buy in and things like that.
No,
right?
in 2018 we started developing it. It took us 9 months to have something that would take us 6 weeks now. But it just we were just kind of messing around with it. And my sales team started using it a little bit that summer. And then we heard about this thing, Door-to-Door Con. And we're like, what the heck is that? I'm if we're going to try to get this into the hands of door-to-door people, we need to go to Door-to-Door Con. That was Door-to-Door Con 2. So we showed up with a booth, a little 10 by 10 booth. It was $3,000, and it would crushed me because I'm I had money for other things, but I had already spent so much money. I was in $100 grand into RepCard, and I'm I haven't made a dime using this thing. I made a few extra sales.
I get it.
So I used it and got a callback from it, and I'm maybe I'm onto something, but you make a $300 commission, you spent 90 grand, it's it's a little lopsided here. So the $3,000 going to Door-to-Door Con and flying there and buying the stuff, I'm this is gonna really hurt if something doesn't happen. And I swear our booth was like packed the whole time. And so it was kind of like
it was a need. What you have is a need. So that's kind of what I want you to, before we go any further, I want you to dive into what the early stage of RepCard was and how it's evolved, because you and I have talked over the last probably 3 months of what 2024 holds and what it looks like now. And I've been on conversations and Zoom calls with you, and I've seen certain things, and you've showed me. I just want them to understand where it was to where it's going and how you plan to change the industry with it, just because I think it's so valuable. RepCard, before, I was just pushing anybody, right? And it's like, I do have a love for RepCard, not only because of the connections and the friendship that you and I have, it's just the product works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And, you know, if I ever have an issue, granted, I have the direct line and you've never not picked up or not said, hey, give me a minute. But it's like, it just always works. And if it does, it's like, it's fixed. Very quickly. So take me through the early stages of what it was meant for and everything, and where we're gonna pretty much where we're going.
Yeah. So when it first started out, the vision was just to create a digital business card to help salespeople, door-to-door reps, have more credibility. When someone knocks on your door or you knock on a door, I swear from my experience, like, people think you're a criminal.
And hold up, I want you guys to pay attention to what he just said from his experience. So when this is built, this is literally coming from his mind of, hey, I've been in the industry, I've got my teeth kicked in, I've got guns pulled on me, I've got ran off by cops. Like, he has been in the thick of it. So what he's building it for is for the industry that he has the experience in, which I think is so powerful, because
from the pain.
We don't find that, right? And we'll get back to it, but there's people out here that are like, oh, I thought of this idea, which is great. I don't bash them, but it's just the idea. They've never been in the trenches, where you're different, where it's like, I was in the trenches. It's more of a
money idea versus like solving a pain.
Yeah. So carry on through that. So through your experience of knocking.
Yeah, so you knock on the door, people come out and they want to treat you like you're some criminal. And so, you know, I'm like, hey, I'm not that. Like, I literally want to serve you, help you out. Obviously, I want to sell them something, but I always sold products that I believed in. And so I'm like, how can we help salespeople establish better credibility? Obviously, the intro, you've still got to do your job first. But after maybe they say, can you come back, and you have a go back, how can I leave them with something that makes them feel like, wow, this guy's not some fly-by-night dude?
Yeah.
Or if you do sell them, how can I solidify the sale so they don't cancel before the installation?
Now,
when you
were solving that, or you thought of that, right? And you're like, I want to leave them to make them look more professional, make them feel a little like, oh wow, classier. Was that because of the idea of door-to-door was getting a bad name, and it was just like a sleazy salesman coming, like, selling you a vacuum cleaner or something like that? Like, oh, I'm gonna come, let's do what was it, like pots and pans or whatever, like Tupperware, right? Like, is it because, like, you felt that if I was just gonna hand you something normal, it was a little sleazier, but this having a techier feel to it is like, oh wow, this is professional. Was that kind of in the back of your head, or what's your?
Yeah, I mean, it was a way to capture leads as well.
Okay, cool.
So you send your digital business card, and in that process, you're capturing their information. So there was an exchange.
Yeah.
If you told me to come back in 3 hours, and I just said, oh, can I just grab your phone number? It feels like I'm like stealing something from you, or like asking for a lot.
Sure.
But I'm like, hey, let me just send you my business card so that you have a little bit of information about me and my business. They're like, oh yeah, for sure. And like getting their info was seamless. And the biggest thing was showing you the reviews. So that was what on our very first feature launch, was the ability to showcase the reviews and showcase your profile picture and your company logo.
So talk about the reviews, though. I love the review idea. Now, is the review on the company or the sales rep?
The review is on the sales rep, the salesperson. As we all know, you can have the same company and have some bad apples in the group.
Yeah.
And they're buying from you. Like, the number one thing in door-to-door is, like, you're selling you first. It doesn't matter if you're selling vacuums, you're selling solar, pest control, alarms, home security, satellite TV. It doesn't matter what, Girl Scout, like, they're buying you first, and then it opens up to the product, and then you find the needs and the whole thing, you know. But so I'm like, how can we brand the individual? When you go to someone's website, you're looking at the business.
Yep.
And so, like, how do we get, like, this basically website, this reputation card for the individual? And so that was our initial, going back to the initial question of like, how did it start? Our goal was just to make this sales rep app and not onboard companies, just sell directly to the reps, $10 a user, and just try to get like millions of users on it. And before we even really launched, we had a massive company ask us if we could create a bunch of features to have like a enterprise account. So we pivoted and went and built that, and then they never onboarded. Oh, and it was like, son of a, so there goes more money. Yeah. But they pushed us down a path that I'm forever grateful for, of being able to onboard businesses and enterprises. Now that's what we focus on today, is onboarding teams, and we've created a ton of features around helping teams be more collaborative and show numbers and metrics and competitions and chat. But the core idea of having the individual use it, and there's a lot of value for the individual, is what drives really high user adoption with RepCard. When companies join, they notice this huge uptick in user adoption from maybe a past service that they've used, because the rep can be selfish and get a lot of selfish leads and information out of it. Yep. But then we built features for the leaders and the business owners as well.
And I think that's huge, right? Because you started out creating for an individual, right? Then you had this hiccup of, oh, this big, massive company wants you to go down this path, which then opened the door for the insight on a manager looking into his team, having like certain features of, oh, hey, why are you doing this? Hey, you guys are slacking here. Hey, what about this? Dude, you got this review, high five. Like, and it's starting to build some type of culture and competitiveness. And it's like, oh, dude, I got a 4-star today. I got a 5-star today. Like, Janice or Karen out here with a 1, like, can't please them all, right?
Right.
I think that's huge. So, in that evolution of single to like the oversight, what are some of the features that you gave, like, the managers to see, and the interaction? Because I love the interaction, because if you get a certain account with a RepCard, right, there's interaction with all of your other reps and or offices, or however that's set up. So let's dive into that.
Yeah, so some of the things that we offer now to the businesses is they have full leaderboards, so they can see, what inputs are the reps doing. Yeah. But it's different than just like number of doors knocked or number of conversations that they're having. A rep could tell me that he had 100 door knocks today, but we track how far they were from the door when they knocked the door. Things like that. So you're like, dude, how did you knock 100 doors from 2 miles away? And we also give insights to open cards, video views, how many interactions did a homeowner have? And so if I was your manager, I can't knock with you every single day, but I can sure as heck look at the leaderboard and see, okay, you said you knocked 100 doors. Yeah. How many cards did you send? Yeah. Okay, you sent 62, that's great. How many interactions did you have off of those 62 people? Are people actually opening your card? And I can tell if you're struggling with your pitch or not from data without having to go knock with you. A lot of times you're managing people in other states. Yeah. And so the leaderboards can actually tell you what's going on.
Which is awesome, because we always want to track our KPIs, right? Yeah. We all want to see, because the only way you know if you're winning is if you're tracking the progress.
Got to look at the scoreboard.
Correct. And so, I think that's so huge, because when a good rep comes in and they can see what they're struggling with, they can pivot, or they can ask for the help, or the manager can step in and say, hey man, I know you're slacking, is everything okay? Like, it gives them the perspective of, how do I show up for that rep, or how can that rep show up for themselves or ask for help? So I think that's super huge. So then you go into the KPIs and seeing all of that. Now, what about is there like a gamification feature or anything like that in RepCard as well?
Yeah, so we just launched a full chat and a full gamification tool.
Oh, dude, that's so awesome.
Those components are going to work super well together. Allowing companies to set out a competition to drive motivation. The only thing I ever learned in college was that people react to incentives in predictable ways. We had to memorize all this stuff. Yeah. That's one sentence that I somehow stuck
paid
with.
Attention.
Yeah. I was awake, and so people react to incentives in predictable ways. Yep. And so now we have the competitions where they can set an incentive and set it out for the day or the week, and the reps can go do whatever KPI they need to do to earn that incentive, and then they can redeem the incentive through the platform.
Oh, yeah. So there's a way. So the company can basically have like a store or whatever that incentive is, or however that works.
Yeah.
And it's just a link or a click, and here it is. Let's go redeem it.
Yeah. And we have a whole library of gift cards. There's over 1,000 vendors that they can choose from. So you can give them $100 to whichever gifts, whatever card store they want to go to.
So like if you're running something like Fast Cash Friday, right? It's like, oh, cool, you win this. Go into RepCard, $250, Fast Cash Friday,
this rep may take it right to Lululemon. This guy might go to Cabela's.
So awesome.
This guy's going to Walmart. I don't know. Maybe he wants to buy groceries, like whatever they want to buy with it.
Dude, that's cool.
It's almost like cash, so they can go and get that wherever they want to go.
But it's the same thing, right? It's just they go redeem it. It's there.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. So I know with where the world's at and what you guys are also doing in RepCard. You know, you service and house a lot of things for door-to-door companies in all industries, right? But a cool thing that you and I have talked about, and I don't know when that's coming out, I don't know if it's live, I don't know what that looks like, but something you and I talked about was for the solar space, right?
Yep.
And becoming a proposal tool to show what that system looks like and pull all that data in. So all that rep has to do is go to their RepCard, go to that spot and say, hey, here's what your proposal looks like. This is what your usage is, size system, everything, and go through that portal. So let's hit on that. I don't know where it's at. I don't even know if we're really even allowed to talk about it. But I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't have any filter, and I'm just going to go ahead and ask.
Let's go. So we integrate currently with a ton of different proposal tools.
Oh, cool.
And so part of this has started just through integration where they can, from RepCard, start a proposal. Some of those are instant proposals that generate a link and the rep can continue on.
Oh, cool.
Some of them, like Solo, you have to wait 15 minutes for the proposal to get generated.
Yep.
But the rep can create the proposal and go and present right then and there. And so it just takes out all the double entering of data. And allows them to do that super quick. We're looking
streamline it, make it easy.
Yeah, streamline, make it super simple. And so some of the next things that we're going to be building is just a way to pull all the data back in. So after they go and sign the homeowner, and they sign, a 10 kilowatt system, it was $40,000. Pull that back in and let that data be amplified through the leaderboards and through the competitions. So now you're leaderboarding not just inputs of doors knocked or video views. Some of that's great for the input side of sales, but what's the outcome? Are they actually closing deals? How many kilowatts are they selling? And letting them leaderboard in competition, that kind of stuff. Because the company doesn't want to give away money unless they're generating money. They want to have it be tied to the revenue generating activities. And so that's kind of the next wave of doing a two-way integration and pulling in that data. I don't know if we'll ever build a full proposal tool ourselves just because it's so competitive and it's kind of
so
too
competitive.
Yep. We're in real estate and a ton of other industries, so that's almost too far down the rabbit hole.
But to be able to have the integration, to be able to go from there, click, and it pulls up the Solos of the world and everything, right? It's like, I think that's super. The easier we make it for the reps, the better off we're going to be as a whole, because no rep likes to go through different tabs or, I got to do this, and, I have to open this one to go over to this, and it just gets cumbersome.
That's actually one of the biggest requests we get from owners is how do we have our reps live in one app?
I love it.
And so I feel like we've solved that, honestly. We have a way to link out to other platforms. So if they're using D2D Experts or D2D University, okay, fine. We have a way for them to add a little card that says D2D Experts or D2DU or whatever, Spartan U. Yeah. Inside of RepCard, and so their reps can be inside of RepCard and click a button, and it just logs them right into D2D University.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So they can use all of our toolbox, all the tools that we have in our toolbox, but we're like, okay, fine, we can play nice with other people, make a link out to their own, storefront for swag or their university or whatever they need to, whatever other tools they have.
Dude, I love that. I love that. I love it. I love it. I flipping love it. So here's what I want to do. I want to shift gears. Again, go look at RepCard. Go check it out. It's a phenomenal product, and I promise you won't regret at least seeing the Zoom to see if it even's a good fit. I
100%.
Promise you that. But I want to shift gears because not only do you run RepCard, right? You're also a dad of
4 kids.
4 kids, a husband. Let's talk about, I don't believe in balance. You're never going to have a balance when you're an entrepreneur. It's hard to figure that out, right? But how do you keep showing up as the best version of being a dad, and the best version of being a husband? Like, what's that look like? Because I know, you know as well as I do, I've traveled a lot, and I try to be the best. Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's just hard. So, like, what are you doing, or how are you doing it? Like, what's that look like?
Man, so I've done it wrong, and I feel like I've figured some things out over the years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't believe in balance either. I believe in priorities.
Yep.
And at different times of the day, there's different priorities.
Oh, cool.
At 7 o'clock in the morning, my priority is to be making pancakes.
Love that, dude.
Okay, that's time. I freaking make the bomb Mickey Mouse pancakes. Yes! I can make a sword. I can make a snake. I can make a gun.
For sure.
Dude, the pancakes I make are bomb. I can make whatever the kids want. Pancake art,
You're awesome.
dude. It's on the griddle. So, at 8 o'clock, I'm supposed to be taking them to school, or just before 8. And then after that, like, my priority shifts to being the CEO of RepCard and showing up at the office and giving that everything that I can give to my team. I'm not supposed to be, sometimes I'll take my kids lunch, and that's super fun.
Very cool.
And show up randomly at lunch and bring them a bunch of brownies for them and all their friends, and just get to see them with their peers. But, and that goes on till 5 o'clock. Let's say 5 o'clock, my day ends, I'm headed home. One thing I learned from Ed Milet was to get home from work and leave your phone in your car. And so when I pull up to my house, I'm never on the phone. If I am, I park down the street, just in case they're outside. And you pull up to the house. If they're outside, you walk in, dude, and they, when your kids are young and they still are like, daddy, and they run up to you, there is not
the greatest feeling.
There's nothing better. So I go in, I find my wife, I kiss her first, show them that, hey, mom's the most important. That's the most important relationship.
That's so powerful.
And then I just play with them, because if you come in you're on the phone and you give them like the one more minute, there's only about a 30-second window and they are gone. So they'll go back to being on the iPad or playing in the backyard or whatever. You cannot make that mistake. If you're listening to this, I dare you to try it for 30 days. It's the most sacred time, because you'll kiss your wife, ask her how her day was, and then wrestle with the kids or play with them and get on their level. And that connection right there is huge. It only will last 15, 20 minutes, and they're going to go back to doing what they were doing. But the weight of that 20 minutes is like, is massive.
I've always said being present, right? As a father of 4, right?
Yeah.
Blended family.
Yep.
I think it's one of those things where you have to be present with your time. When you're trying to build something great, one, it takes a support.
Yeah.
Right? You guys have to be aligned on what you're trying to accomplish. And that way they understand, which it sounds like in your household, you have the understanding of, hey, dad time is from, 7 to 8 or 6 to 8, whatever that looks like, right? You're being dad. You're breakfast, you're getting ready for school, driving to school, right? And then 8 o'clock to 5, it's like, hey, I'm business.
Yeah.
Like if I have time, I'll make time. But my switch is flipped. I have to run this in order to provide.
Yeah.
Right. Then 5 o'clock, you finish up. Like, for me, it's when I can be present. I tell people all the time, because before, probably 2 years ago, I was probably on the road probably about 265, 280 days of the year.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That
is wild.
So that's what's crazy, right? And so what I realized was I get more out of being home and present in that short amount of time than I would be with the distraction of a phone, of anything else, through a week on week of like still picking up my phone and talking. But when I'm home, it's like, hey, I'm home, I'm here, I don't care what this is is us. And my kids, like, you're right. My kids are at the age right now, they're 10, 8, or I lied, 10, 9, 8,
yeah.
2.